Class 9. Now let's start our next chapter. That is the last lesson which will come in your final examination. That is An Angel in Disguise, where the author, the writer of the story, has given importance to love and care, okay, which is the most important part of our life, okay. And he explains the true meaning of kindness, love and compassion. Clear, children? So let's start the chapter An Angel in Disguise. In this story, An Angel in Disguise, I'll give you a short summary of this only, okay, because we cannot read, this is the long chapter and we cannot read word to word, so I'll give you a short summary, okay, of this, and I want you to read every dialogue, each and every dialogue of your book of this chapter, and wherever you find problem, you please mail me. Clear? Now, in this story, An Angel in Disguise, the author strikes, okay, a note by laying emphasis on the importance of loving and caring for others. Clear? It means we should love, we should take care of others. Clear? He says that love is essential for human survival and happiness. Through this story, he points out the true meaning of compassion, kind and love. Okay. He conveys his idea through the story of a poor woman, that is, who falls upon the threshold of her own door in a drunken fit. Means she was completely drunk. Okay, she was not caring about her children, and she was completely drunk, and she dies, leaving 3 children behind her, 2 daughters and a son. Okay, then what happens? The town people, the people of the village, they take pity on these children, and the two oldest means 2 of the children are taken in by the 2 families, good families. Clear? But the youngest Maggie, who is crippled, handicapped, okay, is left alone because no one wants to deal with her disability. It means she had some problems. Now what problem she had? She was fallen from the window and she was completely bedridden. Okay, she had. Now what happened? See, a man named Joe Thompson decided to take her in for the night, but plans on taking her to the poor house. Means Joe Thompson decided to take Maggie to his house for one night so that he could take care of her, but later on he decided to take Maggie to the poor house where the poor and sick children are to be taken care. And why he decided to take her to poor house? Because he knew that his wife would not approve of her, would not allow him to or allow Maggie to stay in her house. When Joe brings Maggie home in his arms, his wife is enraged, furious, okay, angry that he brings that sick brat into her house. Clear? It means she did not want that Maggie to be brought to her house. Are you getting? So 2 of the brother and sister of Maggie are taken care by some other families. They are adopted by some other families, but Maggie was taken by Joe Thompson. Okay, Joe begs his wife, okay, request his wife to treat her kindly. Okay. He tells her to think of her dead mother and the loneliness, the pain and the sorrow that must be on all her coming life. He requested his wife that please take care of Maggie, please do consideration of her pains, of her sorrows, but she refused each and everything. Okay. He refers to the Bible. Even he gave the reference of Bible also, in which the Savior has taught his disciples to love children, where he had given clues, where he had given example of Bible, where he said that even there are many saviors who love children, okay, because in order to take care of them. While Joe is out at work, Mrs. Thompson spends the day with Maggie and develops compassion for her. Now, what happens daily? Okay, Joe Thompson used to go to his work. At that time, now Mrs. Thompson would get time to spend her days or her time with Maggie, which helped a lot to develop the love and compassion for Maggie. Then she grows fond of her. As she was spending time with her, it developed a feeling of love for her. The Thompsons end up keeping Maggie and she becomes a blessings. Okay, now the feeling of love started, the bond started between Maggie and Mrs. Thompson, and what happened that they decided to keep Maggie at their own house as their child. Okay, it had proved like a blessing for them. It had been dark and cold and miserable there for a long time just because Mrs. Thompson had nothing to love. Why? Mrs. Thompson was earlier a very cruel natured, very sour natured lady. Why? Because she did not have any child whom she could love, whom she could show kindness. There was no one to be loved. That's why she had the sour nature. So that's why she was ill-tempered, irritable and self-afflicting in the dissolution of her woman's nature. Now the sweetness of that sick child looking ever to her in love, patience and gratitude was like honey to her soul, and she carried her in her heart as well as in her arms. A precious burden. Now she had decided to keep Maggie as her own child and as a precious burden. Okay, Maggie becomes an angel in disguise, and in this way Maggie becomes an angel in disguise. The writer wants to convey, through this story, the writer wants to convey that not only does Maggie need the care of another to survive, but even Mrs. Thompson also needs Maggie as someone to care and love for. So to live a happy, purposeful life, whom she needs the help of Maggie. So Mrs. Thompson gets a direction to lead a pleasant life. Are you getting, children? So here, now I would like to give you a short introduction of Joe Thompson, who had taken Maggie as his own child. He was a wheelwright who repairs the wheels, okay, and he was very kind-hearted. Okay, he was rough in exterior. He was not good to look at, but very tender-hearted, very soft-spoken from inside. He loves to spend time with children. That's why he had taken Maggie as his child, and he took pity on Maggie, the crippled child. He lifted her in her arms and carried her to his home. Clear? And his words have the desired effect. You know, whatever the words he had said at the time when he was bringing Maggie to his house, at the time when his wife got angry, at the time he said some words to his wife which made a lot of effect on his wife. Now Mrs. Thompson, she was really childless. That's why she had very sour nature. She was cruel, harsh and having no compassion. Okay, and she was irritable and ill-tempered before Maggie came into her life. But when Maggie came to her life, she became no longer irritable but very loving and caring woman. And she leads a happy and pleasant life. So this is the story of an angel in disguise. So who has proved an angel for Mrs. Thompson and Mr. Thompson? That is Maggie. Now something about Maggie. She was a crippled young girl, disabled, okay, unable to leave her bed. Why? Because she was bedridden, she was very weak, she was very helpless, and but she symbolizes innocence, okay. She turns out to be the blessing for Mrs. Thompson, and she had changed very irritable Mrs. Thompson and make her a happy and compassionate person. She was very polite, she was very humble, and she has been proved as an angel in disguise. Clear, children? So now what I want you to do, you should see your workbook. Okay, see the summary part, see the characteristics part, characters of the different characteristics of the different characters, and read the story and try to do the question answer of this. Wherever you find problem, okay, you just mail me. Clear, children?